Hey everyone, Mark and Joey back here on a Friday morning, a beautiful day here. We're actually going to get a chance to get out to the racetrack today, one of our passions, and it's going to finally be nice weather, so we're going to enjoy that. And what we're going to talk about now, though, NHL, man, another great game last night. We predicted the result yesterday on the show, although we predicted that because we thought Char would be out. He did play, tough son of a bitch, I got to say that about him, holy smokes. And he didn't even wear a full mask. He kept his eye part open.
Yeah,
and
just wore the thing for the jaw.
But I didn't find him that effective, really, when it came down to it. So that was part of the problem.
Well, I mean, they were effective because essentially they only gave up 2 goals.
Yeah.
They actually outchanced St. Louis there, and I think Jordan Binnington just played amazing.
He did.
Whether he was effective, it's tough for us to analyze that completely. He did let up 1 goal when he was on the ice, which I believe was a play that maybe was a little bit healthier, maybe wouldn't have made. But it's hard for us to really break it down. Obviously, we can't follow one player specifically.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they only gave up 2 goals, and they only scored 1. And it really came down to the goaltender, Jordan Binnington. He played phenomenal, and really the whole defensive core helped him out a little bit too. Remember that one shot at the end of the game that squeaked through, and the defenseman got out for him.
Right through his legs, and
so I mean, really, I've always said if you let in less than 3 goals, St. Louis finds a way to win. I thought it might be a 4-2 game, but 2-1 will take it, and it was awesome. Ryan O'Reilly's played amazing. Should be the MVP probably. Well, him or Binnington could be the MVP for St. Louis.
Yeah.
He's done it all, but Binnington, man, 25 years old, but a rookie, just played out of his mind and has played great all season and earned the victory for them last night. It was a huge Game 5 win. Before I let you talk, quick fun fact. Every team that's won Game 5 at a 2-2 series has won the Cup. So, odds are on their side. That's 25 teams.
Is that right? Hey, wow.
Because not being a 2-2 series, the Game 5 winner has won the Cup.
Right, yeah. Not all Game 5, because you could be down 3-0 or 4-0.
So, odds are on their side. That's 25 in a row. So, we'll see what St. Louis can do with it.
Well, it's very difficult to win 2 games back-to-back in the playoffs. There's no doubt. I'm sticking by my choice of Boston, although I'm wavering on their ability to do it, simply on the stats that you're talking about. But also, what I'm looking at, St. Louis, exactly what we talked about yesterday, came back and won a game on the road. I mean, it's just unreal what these guys have been like.
Yeah, they handle the pressure on the road. It's almost like like I said, I think because of St. Louis being the first time Stanley Cup, it might be easier, to be honest, for them. There's no pressure on the road, which... it depends on the type of team you are. Either excel at home because, you feed off your home crowd, you use it to your advantage, you don't let the other team get comfortable, or you're a team that likes going on the road because it takes all pressure off you, really. You're not there.
There's always going to be less media, there's going to be less, less things happening in your hometown. And
of course.
You're on the road.
And just getting to the arena is
team bonding, all that stuff.
If you're Boston, really going to arena is a big deal. You got media before the game. During the game, after the game, but you got just the fans on your case, and fans like Boston, not only do they cheer you on when you're doing great, but they'll boo you if
they want to win.
Yeah. So, a team like a city like that, the crowd is really tough, and the team has to handle it. And not that they played bad, it's just it's the way it goes sometimes. I've always felt like St. Louis was meant to win this cup. Yeah. I've always felt like because of their road record that they would get it done. And they've won back-to-back games after losing 7-2, which is a skill of its own, and it's a skill they've had all postseason long. They've almost had 1 blowout in every single playoffs they've had, and they just come back and play better. It's amazing, and they're 1 win away from the cup now.
Well, it sounds like our Raptors, right on the basketball side, same thing. They were blown out in some early rounds by 20 and 25 points, and they just let it go, which is fantastic. St. Louis is doing the same thing. Boston outchanced St. Louis last night for sure. The St. Louis D was great. The goaltending was fantastic. And there was some luck involved as well, which the one he lost his stick on, that was going into the net.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, through the 5-hole. Of course, he had no stick. And one of his D came back and just scooped that out of the, just before he was going to cross. Then he had the other one that was the controversial goal where he made that fantastic pad save. The puck was laying on the pad. Boston's like jamming in there.
Wow.
And eventually they thought maybe it had gone over the line. They went to the video replay and it hadn't happened.
Well, the thing for me is the whistle had clearly blown when they played it with sound. Yeah. So, it would have taken a ton to overturn it anyways because there's no clear view. In fact, the puck was on the guy's stick. Plus, in the new rule, you can't push the goalie's pad in. You have to be...
Yeah, that's an old day.
You have to be pushing the puck. So, did he hit the puck first? Did he hit the pad first? I don't think you could ever overturn that and make it a goal. Plus, I don't think they had an angle to even show you.
There was no angle.
Like, the puck wasn't even, like, it wasn't that obvious. Like, it would take a lot to find an angle that would give you something to tell you to overturn it. But at the end of the day, it did not matter because the whistle had blown. And that was the ref's point when he announced that people didn't care. But that was that point, and then the play was over. So, the controversial goal was ours, was St. Louis scoring that second goal. I don't know if it, like, you said it was a bit of a slew foot. It's definitely a trip.
Yeah, it should have been a penalty called.
Should have been a penalty. It was not. When Bozak turns around, throws his own hands up, trying to complain. It tells you even he thought it was a penalty. But what you do in those situations, you take advantage of it. And they did that. And then they got a lucky bounce on the defenseman, and then a lucky bounce on the goaltender. But anyways, they scored. The puck went in. Boston fans are going to say that's why I lost. I'm going to say, hey, you never know if they would have given up a goal.
You can,
right? Because when you get up, they played really
Yeah.
soft when they got up 2 goals. If you're still up 1, you don't know. So I'm not going to say that decided the game, but obviously it was a big turning point in the game. And it goes from a goal for St. Louis to it could have been a power play for Boston.
Right.
And that's obviously the difference. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's hockey. They've had calls go their way. And it is what it is. Really,
over a long playoff, there's so many. If you went back and looked at the replay of every game, there's so many calls that it could have gone. You and I saw one later in the game when Marchand, I think it was, tried to dip low and
Marchand
lift a guy up over his back. Right,
could take 8 penalties a game. I mean, he went after someone's legs. At the end of the game, he fell on Binghamton. Like it's. I wasn't feeling sorry for Boston by any means that we got away with that one. So up 3-2, the cup is in the building, St. Louis. It is in your building for the first time in forever, and you got a chance to win your first cup in forever. And here we go. Can you get it done in Game 6?
Yeah. Well, my prediction out of here is going to be a Boston win, just like the first game back in St. Louis. After leaving Boston, there's going to be so much hype. It's going to be so much nerves when it comes to the cup being in the building. The fans are going to be crazy, and I think the experience in Boston is going to come through. Game 6, Game 7, going to be a toss-up, but I tell you, I always like being the home team in Game 7. So I'm still predicting a Boston win here. I think St. Louis will not fold under the pressure, but much like that 7-2 game, going back with the cup in the building, I think there might be too many nerves involved. It's going to be very, very interesting. We've got a rookie goalie here, although not without precedent. I mean, Murray for Pittsburgh won 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups, and he was a rookie when he started. And so it's not without precedent that rookies don't fold under pressure. But I think this is going to look like the 7-2 game when they went home in Game 3, and we're going to see a Boston win. Game 7, I'll predict once I see a little bit about what happens in Game 6, but I'm expecting Boston to come back and win this series. It's happened before in these playoffs already, and matter of fact, St. Louis did it. So not unusual here to see that happen.
It's over in 6. St. Louis is going to win. I predict St. Louis in 6 at the beginning of the Stanley Cup. I think it's over in 6. They go home, they win this. The crowd will be absolutely insane. The players will go nuts. It'll be a fun show to watch, but I think it's over in 6. I think Boston is at the end of its rope as far as injuries, as far as time of their players. Their players are old and they look tired. I don't think they'll be able to keep up with St. Louis in Game 6. I think St. Louis is going to have all the energy. I think they're not going to play frantic. I think they're going to play like Game 4, play amazing. I think it's over in 6. They're going to taste this cup. They're going to go get it, and they're going to get it in front of St. Louis's home crowd. I predicted this in 6. I want them to win it. I think if you're going to win the cup, do it at home. Do it in front of your crowd. St. Louis, please be responsible is the only thing I have to say. Canada celebrated without someone getting arrested, so please don't get arrested or anything like that. But they're coming home. They're going to win it for you in 6. It's all over, but they're crying. St. Louis wins Game 6. Absolute guarantee they win Game 6, and the cup is going to St. Louis.
Well, I think your success in the other series in hockey gives me a good chance of being right again. And I predict Boston. We're obviously on opposite sides of this with good logic for both of us. So we'll see how this all turns out, but I'm looking forward to a great game again, a nice, close, tight game. And if it's won by St. Louis, I hope it's done in great fashion. I hope they play well. There's no cheap goals, all those kinds of things that can lessen your feeling about that the game. We want it to be a great game either way. I'm sure we're going to be back for Game 7, which would be amazing for the NHL and for this series. So we're looking forward to that. But I can't tell you that St. Louis won't win. They've been resilient throughout these whole playoffs. And so it's hard to say that they won't for sure. But I'm picking Boston. Game 6, we're going to be opposite ends of this one. And I look forward to seeing you guys back for Game 7. And we'll come back. When's the game? I actually forgot
Game
to
is
look.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. So Saturday night hockey, not in Canada, but a lot of Canadians playing. So we're looking forward to that. It should be a big night for people to watch. And we'll be back Saturday morning with an update. Any injuries, certainly Chara's injury will be a big update going into the game and how his jaw is feeling.
That ain't going to change. It's broken. So he can barely talk.
Yeah.
It's not going to change overnight, but he's still going to play. And here's the thing, though, you don't notice. Sorry, real quick. David Backes doesn't get in the lineup because of they're carrying 7D. What does that mean? Well, David Backes played against St. Louis, or played for St. Louis for 10 years, was the captain. I thought had been a great impact in Game 1 through 4. Did not play last night. I think they could use him in Game 6. What do they do on the defensive end? Do they carry 7 or do they sit one out? I think they need him energy-wise, leadership-wise. He's chippy, and he's played in that arena before. So I think he's a big key opponent that they need there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all of that turns out. That's what's exciting about hockey. And we'll look forward to the game. We'll see you Saturday morning with any updates. And if we don't come Saturday morning because nothing really changes, enjoy the game Saturday night. And we'll do a recap on Sunday morning.